What's going on, YouTube? This is Drano's back at it again, bringing you another video. So I know it's been, like I said, I haven't been posting consistently on my channel as I'd like to as of late, but that's just because, the Madden season is pretty much over with. Really not much to do in Madden, especially since they stopped putting out content. And I just realized we've actually been playing Madden 20 for the last 13 months, which is kind of crazy to think at this point. Last year we were playing 20, which was the new game. But, I digress. For those who don't know, I actually just recently got Twitch affiliate. So, if you guys did come over from YouTube to check that out, I greatly appreciate the support in making that happen. If you guys don't know, though, and that I do live stream, check me out. It's twitch.tv/DranosTV. Been playing, mainly Madden, of course. Been playing a couple other games. Been actually recently playing some money games on Madden. So go ahead and check that out. Come hang out and support the boy. So for the topic of today's video, I figured this would be an appropriate time to put this out there just because, we're about 16 days away, give or take, from the drop of Madden 21. And this is going to be kind of using, if you guys follow dub.w, who is a competitive Madden player, this video is kind of inspired by that. So basically what the topic that, I'll be going over is, how do you compete? How do you compete in Madden? How do you compete in MCS? How, you see all these guys winning all this money in Madden, but you're unsure of how to go about competing. So for today's video, we're actually going to be going over how you can compete and how you can kind of put your name in the hat in order to compete with all these other guys that are out here. So I did come up with a list of things that I wanted to go over, just some tips just to kind of help you guys out. And some of the stuff was, mentioned by Dubby. I just felt like, he made some great points in his video in this case. But at the same time, I did kind of put my input into it as well. And I think the first thing that kind of blows my mind is, not a lot of people are aware of what the MCS schedule is. So the first thing that I would recommend doing is once the very first day that the MCS news drops, know the schedule. I think that's the biggest thing to know. So if I could actually find it here. So okay, perfect. So these are all the tournaments that actually came out, and let me see if there's a better. Okay, here, series structure, perfect. This is beautiful. So this is the schedule for the MCS season that just ended this year. And I would imagine, unless if there's some drastic changes, we're probably going to see something very similar. Even though most likely due to everything that's going on because of this pandemic, I would imagine we're probably going to be mainly online tournaments, but I think that may even give you more of a chance, honestly, because not everyone can afford to go travel, especially to the first tournament of the year, the Classic, which I actually went to last year, which was in Dallas, but not everyone has the opportunity to do that. So I think with, it being online, most likely, if I had to guess, it does kind of open up the field in that case. But like I said, number one, know your schedule. So as you guys can see here, MCS season started in August with number one, the Madden Classic, but also at the same time, while the Madden Classic was going on, there was also the qualification for Club Series. So very important that these specific dates as far as when the ladders open for Club Series and then when they close. Very important that you know that. And then obviously if you're able to go to the Classic, which is usually just one of those events, you just pay your entry fee, you walk in and you compete, then that's pretty self-explanatory at that point. So you got Classic, then you got the Club Series, which you guys can see that ran all the way from August until October. Then you've got the live events, which I know some NFL teams, they actually do decide to host tournaments at their stadiums in this case. So I think that's kind of one of the unique things that Club Series offers. But again, like I mentioned before, being that most likely it's going to be online, if I had to guess, probably not going to see that, but still cool nonetheless in that case. So then after the then after the club championship, the ladders or during the club championship, the ladders for the Madden Challenge open up, which for those who don't know, and I'll probably I'll talk about these points later on as I bring up this specific topic, but with the challenge, it's based off of MUT Draft. Where basically you get 20 rounds to pick your team. and it's completely randomized in terms of your players and your playbook. So it definitely kind of tests your ability as far as who can go about freestyling the best. That's how I've always looked at Mud Draft, and I enjoy playing it. In this case, because of that aspect, because you could really see who can make the adjustments and who can't. So that'll be the next tournament, and for those guys who don't necessarily want to spend all the money on Mutt, you can still play Mud Draft even though there is an entry fee, but obviously you're not gonna have to put in the crazy amount of money that some of these other full time competitors put in. I think with the challenge, that might be your second best chance besides the classic, which is on regular teams. For those who don't know, then after the challenge is over, um, that's kind of where the season gets cooked, to be honest with you. Unless, if you do manage to qualify for what's called the last chance qualifier, which I want to double check before I put this out there, but I want to say it's the final 16 players in terms of MCS points. So if you're in that final 16, then you get one last opportunity to make, in this case, what the final tournament of the year is, the Madden Bowl. So so this is just to give you a good idea as far as what to expect in terms of the MCS season. Just knowing the schedule, you're already ahead of the game right there, because it'll kind of help you plan out, what to prioritize. So obviously at the beginning of the year, you still want to play Mutt, but you want to focus on regs as well, because that's the main first tournament, regs, which is regular teams. Then after that, you go to Mutt. And then after that, you go to draft champions or Mutt draft. And then after that, go back to Mutt. I think just knowing that right there is very helpful. So that's the first point I want to make, is know your MCS schedule. Number two, be active on Twitter. I would say, if you don't have a Twitter already, especially in 2020, you're definitely behind the eight ball in this case. With the MCS, they're always posting, when the tournament or when the ladders open up, when the ladders are closing, and things of that nature, and just like any updates that do come up. So I highly recommend, if you don't have a Twitter, go ahead and make one. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to do. And you're gonna want to follow Madden League Ops, which is the MCS Twitter page. They're always constantly posting out news, and what I would imagine what's gonna end up happening is, once the new information for Madden 21 MCS drops, they'll be posting it on here. And while I'm at it, shameless plug, if you guys want to sauce me a follow, I'll always be posting stuff as well. It's just at Dranos TV on Twitter. So feel free to check me out. I'll always be posting stuff about the MCS, and then also, other, content that I produce out there. So, number two, create a Twitter. Also, that's where a majority of the competitors are too, just talking about, specific things that are impacting competitive Madden. So, it's good to be in the know, even if you're not necessarily active, but it is good to be in the know in terms of what all is going on and what all is impacting competitive Madden. So number two, I'd say create a Twitter page, just so you're up to date with all the news and what specific dates as far as tournaments. Number three, and this is going to be a controversial topic, but it's something that you gotta take it for what it is. And number three is Mutt. And what I mean by that is, if you want to compete, you're gonna have to play Mutt. That's just the reality of how the MCS is structured. It's geared around Madden Ultimate Team. I mean, yeah, I see a lot of competitors. They'll start off the year playing at the Classic, and after that, you don't hear from them at all the rest of the year. So it's kind of one of those things you got to ask yourself. How much are you willing to put in, not only in time, but if you have the resources available, you want to compete, it's going to be one of those things you have to invest in. That's the way I look at it. And I'm not saying that you have to be like the YouTubers that spend crazy amount of money on bundles every weekend, but you're not giving yourself a fair chance if you're out there not being able to compete at the with the same playing field as some of these other guys are, especially the competitors. So not only that, but also with Mutt, if you're not playing Mutt, you're definitely shooting yourself in the foot in terms of the number of opportunities that are out there for you. Because like I said, with Madden, it's definitely more catered around Mutt. Now obviously that's controversial, but that's just the reality of the situation. That's just how it is. So it's going to be one of those things you have to ask yourself: how committed are you to really, competing in, in Madden in this case? You got to get over that hurdle, which is kind of what W was saying too. You got to get over that hurdle of not wanting, pay to play, not wanting to, put in the time and resources to play MUT. And honestly, it's one of those things, guys. Me personally speaking, I've been able to compete, in this case with some of those higher end teams, but it's not always just because I put in the money. Although starting off day one, if you're able to put in, a couple bucks into Madden, that's going to jumpstart your team. And then from there, definitely, want to go ahead, play weekend league. And, I'm not saying you have to get top 100 all the time, but if you place well in weekend league every weekend, eventually your coins are going to build up and you're going to be able to build a solid team, whether, especially when it comes to, salary cap and whatnot. So you definitely want to do that. That's just, again, just my opinion. You gotta play MUT. That's really, I feel like that's, should be the number one thing, especially now once regs is over with. You got to put in your time in MUT. Number four, I would say, one of the best ways to get better in terms of, competition is playing money games. I'm starting to actually realize that now, especially this late in the year. I do play money games off to the side. And it doesn't have to be for anything too crazy. In this case, you could play $1 games, you can play $5, $10 games. But I've always felt that when it comes to Madden, if you're playing for money, it's definitely gonna be test your skill because you're actually playing for something as opposed to just playing some bot, as I like to call them, on just regs or whatever, or just on the seasons or whatever. I feel like if you do, put your time into like, money games. I'm not saying you have to be, crazy and, do it within reason, of course, with what you're able to do. But I think money games is a great way to, sharpen your skills. And then obviously if you surround yourself surround yourself with, good competition as well. If you guys know the saying, iron sharpens iron, that's one of the, that's basically saying, if you surround yourself around, good competitors, that's just gonna, bring out the best of you. So you're probably wondering, like, how can I compete for money? I know for me, the website that I've been using here recently, and if you guys don't know, it's actually called Players Lounge. That's what I've been using here recently. Very easy site to use in this case. And also they don't have just Madden, they have a bunch of other games too, but obviously since this is dedicated to Madden, you're gonna want to go to Madden, and then obviously depending on the system, you'll click the system. Very easy to set up matches when they're available in this case. So that's a great way to, at least for me, the reason why I'm playing these money games is, like I said, number one, just to play good competition. And then number two, just to work on, route combos, concepts that I didn't get to work on this past year. And then just more than anything, just mentally stay sharp in this case. I know the last couple seasons, I've kind of taken the last like 2 or 3 months off Madden once my competitive season was over. And that actually kind of hurt me, especially in 19 and 20. I didn't really place as good as I wanted to. So there is that in that case. So number four, definitely got to you play good competition. Even if it's not necessarily money games all the time, play good competition because that's going to bring the best out of you. And then the fifth tip that I'm going to offer you guys, the fifth and final tip, is play the game for what it is. I'm not gonna lie, it took me, someone as hard headed as I can be sometimes. It took me some time to realize this too, is that we get the game, we play it for the first couple weeks, and then we struggle in a certain aspect of the game, whether it be, for example, like this past year, run defense. Or I remember one thing that I really struggled with in Madden 19 was the nickel 335 odd, the crossfire defense, which is ridiculous to try to play against last year. So, and then I would just use that kind of as an excuse to not really give my best effort and try to compete. And for what my mindset going into 21 this year is, I'm not making any excuses. I'm going to play the game for what it is. I'm not going to make any excuses and talk about how the game's bad, even though that's what a lot of people want to try to do. But I think, if you eliminate the excuses, you're going to give yourself a chance because you're not focusing, you're going to be mentally sharp the whole time. You're not going to, be, what's the word I'm looking for? You're not going to be shook by, whenever you do get cheated in the game. Because that's one of the things you got to realize, guys. You're going to get cheated in Madden. It's just bound to happen with, how the game can be. So I think it's one of those things, guys, where if you just play it for what it is, if it's a run dominant year, whether it be, pass happy, like we've seen in some years, play the game for what it is. Play to its strengths. It blows my mind how people want to crack jokes on Joke, who was actually the Madden 20 overall winner. He actually won the Madden Bowl at the end of the year. It blows my mind and how people just want to make fun of, oh, well, he won, Madden doesn't take any skill. He won with the quarterback at punter. No, that's A+ finesse by Joke because he recognized what the strengths of the game was, which was the running game. So he centered his offense around that, and then he was just able to just load up and pretty much have a Madden Ultimate Team defense where it basically just locked down everyone. So, the fact that people want to, complain and say, oh, he should never at any point, win with the punter. You know what? That's on you for not being able to stop it. Simple as that. I mean, there is run D out there. You just gotta know. You just gotta, this is kind of where playing those, those quality opponents kind of comes in, because if you get used to seeing certain looks, you give yourself a better chance to, being able to contain it, or on offense, you're able to, give yourself a better chance to move the ball. That's just how I felt. I never liked to, to me, it never made sense to try to take shots at people's success in that case. So that's just how I feel personally about it. You might feel differently about it, and hey, if that's the case, then shout out to you in that case. But coming up on 16 minutes on this video. Hopefully with this video, it did provide you some insight on, as far as what to expect for the upcoming MCS season, help you prepare. Hopefully, you're able to, make the most of the opportunities that are presented to you, because for me being a former athlete, I love to compete in, whatever it is. And in this case, it's Madden. It's one of my best outlets to try to compete. And really kind of the last thing I want to go ahead and point out is I'm actually working with Madden Underground. For those who don't know, I'm actually working with them as a content creator for them. And let me go ahead, pull up their website here on my end. So let me pull it up here. So here it is, Madden Underground. This is our website. If you guys are interested in 30, I think it's 30 or 32 man CFMs, this is definitely the place that you want to go to not only for CFMs. I think they do the Pro League, which I've been in. They do the Sim League, if that's more of your style. And then if I'm not mistaken, I believe they're actually going to do a fantasy draft league or something like that. So definitely the place that you want to go to. And then also they do tournaments, and they do a couple other things. As you guys can see, one of my guys, B-Guard, he's actually doing some content for them as well. So go ahead and check that out. I'll actually drop the link down below for you guys to check it out, because they're gonna do a lot of big things coming up in this upcoming year from a competitive Madden standpoint. So that being said, I'm gonna actually go ahead and wrap up the video. I know it's a little bit longer than what I was anticipating, but yeah, hey, kind of what happens when you go on a ramble. But if you guys did enjoy this video, if you guys, appreciated some of the tips that I gave you guys, number one, I appreciate you guys hitting that like button. And then number two, if you guys are looking forward to more of this type of content, for competitive Madden, like I said, I am planning on doing a little bit more work with Madden Underground as a content creator. Consider subscribing to the channel. And until the next one, guys, this is Dre Knows, and I'm signing out. Peace.